Alright, so I got a lot of questions on how I purl as well. I purl the Norwegian way, which is it's a way of purling that allows you to knit and purl without moving your hands at all, because you don't flip the yarn around in any way. You hold it the exact same way as when you knit. So the way I knit is holding the yarn this way. I also have a tutorial showing tips and tricks about how I knit faster. So when I purl, I hold the yarn the exact same way. The left thumb holds the next stitch I'm gonna purl. The right index finger holds the last stitch I knit so it doesn't slip off, and I also use it to shuffle the stitches down and sometimes push here to pull these stitches further up, just to increase the speed a little bit. So with the Norwegian purling, you use the right needle to move around to make the purl stitch. And I'm going to show you how to do it. When you learn Norwegian purling, it's a bit fiddly, but if you just practice it enough, then it becomes an automatic thing, and by not having to shift the yarn around, that will save you time in the end, I believe. So when you want to start purling, you take the right needle, you go behind both your working yarn and through the back side through the stitch you're about to knit. So it's the front part of the loop, but you go through the back. Alright, so behind the working yarn and into the stitch from behind, like so. Then you want to do a complete U-turn with your right needle. You might want to put your thumb on to the stitch you're working on so it doesn't slip off. You do a complete U-turn anti-clockwise around the working yarn, like so, not involving the stitch you're knitting into. And then you want to go through the stitch that you're working on from the front to the back, like so. You take the needle underneath the working yarn and then you can let go. And a trick to tighten your gauge so that you get an even tension is to pull the stitch towards you, and that will cause tension on your working yarn, tightening up that stitch. By pulling away, you loosen it. Towards you, you tighten it. And then you're ready for the next stitch. So again, you go behind the working yarn and into the stitch you're about to knit from behind, like so. Put your thumb here to make sure it stays put as you're going an anti-clockwise turn around your working yarn towards you. Then you want to go through that stitch underneath the working yarn and up. And you can let go of the stitch and pull towards you to tighten it up. Back and forth until you feel like it's the best tension for what you're working on. Alright, so behind and into the stitch from behind, anti-clockwise turn around your working yarn, pull it back towards you, go into the stitch and away from you underneath the working yarn and up, and let go and tighten. And what I do to increase is I make sure I have a lot of stitches on the left needle and not so many on the right needle, and I use my left thumb to make sure I don't slip the stitches. And after a while, this little dance with the right needle becomes an automatic thing, and it will go a lot faster, and you can always regulate the tension this way. A lot of people purl more loosely than they knit, but I find that when I tension it this way, there isn't as much of a difference between my purl tension and knit tension. But again, that comes with practice and experience and a lot of knitting, basically. So yeah, this is how I purl. I hope that was useful for you and that you have a lovely day. Bye.